Communication 110. This is a speech, a pan of the room in our audience. We have 8 members here, including myself. To observe the speech, Morgan Martinez.
Go.
We're going to set up right here. Morgan, you want a camera here too?
Camera 1, camera 2.
Camera 1, camera 2.
Check.
Check. Alright. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready when you are. I'll hold this one.
Okay. Imagine being trapped in a world where you face constant judgment and you feel like every move you make is being watched. No, you're not in the mind of a conspiracy theorist or under the watchful eye of Big Brother in 1984. You're in high school. And in high school, being a teen is tough. Every move you make is being constantly judged by your peers, but high school is very important to a teenager. It's when you start building relationships and making connections with others. The important start in building these relationships is through self-disclosure, and the easiest way to do that to other people without talking to them is through your outward appearance. And so people are going to judge you based on your outward appearance, so looking good is important, right? Well, it is. It helps build self-esteem, but it also lends itself to problems in the future. The problem that people face in this process is that they tend to follow commercial advertisements and the standards that they set for beauty. So this sets a negative precedent for people in the future because of the over-stylized standards of beauty that the media portrays. They attack the most vulnerable demographic, and they have perhaps the most serious repercussions in this process. They affect the teen demographic. Being a teenager is tough. I would know. I'm one right now. On top of all the work you have to face and worries of college and your friends and social life and everything going inside in your mind and body, having the fact that people are judging you day in and day out is a lot of stress on the body. And so this quote-unquote beauty standards are so disproportionate and photo-unrealistic that it's practically impossible for anybody to achieve these standards. Teenagers attempt to reach these standards, but the fact that they are so unachievable makes teenagers feel like failures, and oftentimes will resort to extreme methods to try to meet these standards, and that can lead to serious health problems in the future. So now that we've established the problem, today we're going to talk about the evolution of beauty in our society and the problems that have come from this, the physical and mental effects that affect both girls and boys, and possible solutions to this problem. Now, the standard of beauty has evolved over the past years. Advertisements have set a precedent for males and females that have become unattainable for the majority of the population. Males are supposed to be ripped with muscle, and females are supposed to be skinny and flawless. In the past, models were thicker, and now it's acceptable. Beauty has always been a celebration of the human figure. The contours of the body were acceptable. Hair and beauty marks, anything that made a human unique was considered beautiful. But in past years, as trends have evolved, models have become skinnier and skinnier, and this has led to health problems. And studies have shown that the average female is 15% lighter than the average weight of the average female. And part of this is the changing culture and trends that come in and decade out. But a larger reason for this is because commercials have standardized what beauty is supposed to look like. Today, girls see these standards as desirable, and they try to match their physique to this. But the issue with this is that the proportions are unnatural, and practices to achieve them are unhealthy. A lot of times, models will resort to anorexia and bulimia, and the fact that girls think that that's what beauty is supposed to look like, they'll practice these trends too. Part of advertising is that people are supposed to trust what they see in magazines and on commercials. You wouldn't want to read something and say, that's wrong. You wouldn't want to see something and be like, that's not real. But that's exactly what you see whenever you see a commercial. When you see a model, oftentimes the advertisers would use Photoshop to digitally alter the body, and they'll shorten the waist and they'll enhance the bosom. And the fact that we want to see this, we want to accept this as truth, but the fact is that it's not true. Commercial advertisements have taken beauty, a subjective idea. Beauty has always been in the eye of the beholder, but now they've taken it to an objective reality that people are supposed to accept in our society. It's impossible to trust an industry that lies about what people look like. So the main demographic that the advertising industry targets is teenage girls. Girls face a lot of scrutiny in how they look, and oftentimes they view attractiveness as a determining factor in how they're supposed to build relationships with others. According to a study conducted by Nancy Etkoff, 36% of women voiced displeasure with their size or shape of their body, and 7% of them voiced direct dissatisfaction with how they view their own beauty. This sets a negative trend because girls tend to only focus on the way that others perceive them instead of accepting themselves for who they really are. According to the National Association for Anorexia Nervosa and other associated disorders, 70% of girls from grades 5 to 12 looked in magazines for information on beauty, and they use that as this inspiration. So young girls are looking at beauty standards and how a woman is supposed to look, but the fact that they're 5 and 12, they're forcing maturity upon themselves and not accepting what they're supposed to look like at their respective age. So they resort to extreme forms of dietary restriction to meet these high standards. Some of the issues that can arise from this are anorexia, bulimia, depression, and a bevy of other mental health issues that can lead to nutrient deficiencies and chemical imbalances in the body that can lead to health problems in the future. And some people have actually died from these diseases. So the fact that young girls put themselves at risk in today's society to achieve these beauty standards is unacceptable. Now, body image is normally seen as a female-only issue, but the fact is that males are just as susceptible to negative body images as well. A study reported by the Journal of American Medical Association says that approximately 7 to 9% of males in the teen and young adult demographic were concerned with their own physique, the fact that they were too thin or they didn't have enough muscles, and they said they would resort to using supplements or steroids to fix this problem. Now, according to a study by Selena Russello of Southern University, 20% of males recorded that they had negative body images after watching advertisements, which was significantly lower than females. But the fact that males still voiced this means that they were just as susceptible to this problem. And males are in advertising are seen as hulking figures with big muscles and fast and athletic, and that's how they're supposed to be desirable to women. And the fact that the role that sports and other athletes play in our society, you see them in advertisements all the time, many males will associate attraction with only muscles. So this idea is indoctrinated at a young age with action figures and superheroes who are big hulking figures just like athletes are. And even Halloween costumes for young 5-year-olds have muscle lining on the inside of the costume to make them have the appearance of muscles. So when males finally get to an age where they can start using steroids and other supplements to make themselves bulk up, that can lead to heart failure and chemical hormone imbalances that can cause future health problems as well. So we've been talking a lot about the negatives of body image on males and females, but let's talk about the positives for a second. Positive body image is vital to a healthy lifestyle. Being able to think positive about yourself makes your body feel better, and it releases chemicals in the brain that keep you healthy and upbeat day in and day out. So when you look at commercial advertisements and say, I want to be healthy, I want to look at that, but you have to resort to drastic measures to meet that, that's when you go too extreme and it turns into a negative. There comes a point when trying to achieve the body image set by commercial advertisements has become unfeasible. Some possible ways to combat these over-stylized standards is to get back to celebrating the human body. Now, some might argue that advertisements are actually helping people by providing ways for people to become healthy and get into a right lifestyle. Headlines like 5 foods you need to drop to get a beach body, or 10 steps to getting 6-packs. Yes, some people actually do record success with these advertisements and reaching health, but the fact that some people are actually dying and are going to hospitals for nutrient deficiencies has become unacceptable. The fact that it has to nullify what's going on. Another way to avoid the pitfalls of body image from commercial advertisements is to look past the physical beauty and look into what makes us human. The fact that we have an intellect, we can reason, we can feel and emote with others and bond over this. This is what we should be celebrating with beauty, not with some faceless industries telling us what is beautiful and what isn't. Beauty is supposed to be objective. It's supposed to be the compassion you feel for each other and the way you can feel empathy for each other. So let's review how body image has had a negative effect on our self-perception. Beauty is supposed to be a subjective idea, but the commercial advertisements have turned this into an objective reality that has standardized beauty to a point that it's beyond human recognition. While trends come and go with the ever-evolving culture of each decade, beauty has been evolving in a negative path over the years and has come to a point where the trend has become unhealthy. Girls are at the forefront of this issue, and because of the high percentage of health issues revolving females and their perception of body image, they often feel objectified in society because of the effect of commercial advertisements. And this is a trend that has to go. Advertisements depict female beauty as skinny and flawless, but we're human, we're not flawless, so in and of itself, this goal is unattainable. Girls and boys may resort to drastic means which can lead to eating disorders and mental issues like depression and anorexia that can have adverse reactions in the body and throw it out of balance. Now, this can be changed, however, through the avoidance of popular diets and workout routines, putting your body in respect to celebrities in perspective. Celebrities are paid to look a certain way. They're not average people. We are, so we should be happy and be able to accept ourselves. And accepting your body for what it is. It's human and perfectly distinct from everybody else, and that's perfectly fine. Thank you.
Yeah.